Hi guys, Harry here from the Art Gear Guide. Thanks very much for joining me today. As you can see, I have a review of the Derwent Carry Bag. Now, the reason why I wanted to do this review was because I was looking through some items on Amazon. This was quite a while ago. I was looking for pencils to buy and stuff like that to review, and then I noticed that this bag got some bad reviews with regards to its quality. Some people were saying that the quality was flimsy, that it didn't last and stuff like that, and I found that really well, I just found it hard to believe, because Derwent products are normally really good, and so I decided that it would be a good item to review, and plus I wanted to check this out for myself. So I bought this around about just before we went on our summer holidays, so around about June or July time, I think it was. So I've had it for a while now. I will say, however, I am not the most outgoing person, obviously because of my disability, so I'm not one of these people that go out into the wild looking for birds to draw or wildlife to draw or anything like that. I can't do that. I would love to do that, but I just can't do that. So I don't bring this bag around with me everywhere, but I do take it wherever I go. And when we were on holiday, I took it with me there. And my daughters, whenever they went out, whenever they went down to the river or whatever, they would take this bag with them. And so it's not been bashed about or anything like that there, but it's been out in the elements. It's been out in the rain. It's been set down on the ground and things like that, and it's been lifted and thrown about and all the rest of it. So I think it's been tested as best I can test it with regards to the quality of the bag. But there's lots of other things that we got to get through before we get to the quality of the material and stuff like that. So I'm going to do this a slightly different way, okay? So I'm going to turn the bag up, and I'll show you the different compartments that are in the bag. Now, in terms of size, it's slightly bigger than an A5 size sketchbook. You couldn't get like an A4 sketchbook into this, so it's kind of A5-ish, a little bit bigger. On the front here, you have a pouch where you could put some sketchbooks as well, slightly bigger than the bag if you wanted to, so you could put it in there. On the sides here, you have these little D-rings. Now these D-rings, as you can see there, the stitching is really good. I think they're metal. I'm not 100% sure. I think they're metal, these D-rings, but they allow you to clip on a shoulder strap. Now I don't have the shoulder strap with me at the minute because I can't demonstrate it in any case. But it allows you to have that ability. Then on the top here you have this handle, and as you can see, you've got two parts of the handle here, but you can also put that in, and that just gives you extra comfort when you're carrying it around, which I think is a really nice touch. So you're holding on to that as opposed to these straps, and these straps are made from if there's any ex-British Army people out there, you'll understand when I say the old style webbing that the British Army used to use, and so it's tough, sturdy material, and it's obviously designed that way to withstand people going out in the elements. Right, so when you buy the bag, it has what's called leaves. Derwent call them leaves inside it, and the bag comes with 3 leaves inside it. The leaves then you can purchase in packs after that if you want to, and the packs come 2 leaves at a time. So just let me open this up and I'll show you how I have my bag set out. So I'm hoping I can get this. Okay, so in the front here you have this mesh pocket, and it has a zip up here. So anything you put in there is going to be safe. As you can see in there, I have my Derwent water brushes. I have an eraser, I've got a blending stump, and I've got a kneadable eraser. I'm just going to turn it round here. Sorry. And we'll go through. Okay, so like I said, the bag originally, when you buy the bag separately, it comes with 3 leaves in it. So that's 1, 2, this is a leaf. This black thing here is a leaf. And each leaf holds 44 pencils. Okay, so 22 on either side. Now, I suppose, depending on what type of pencil you're using, you might be able to get more than 2 into these little slots here. But with the thick, I mean, like Derwent do quite chunky pencils. With the likes of these Graphitint, or sorry, Inktense, they're quite thick. You wouldn't get more than that in there. But perhaps maybe with the studio pencils, because they're quite thin, you might be able to get 3 of those in there. But as you can see here, I've got some of the Derwent Pro Color. And before anybody says anything, I do have all my Derwent stuff in here, you know. So before anybody says, oh, you work, because I get a lot of people saying that they think I work for Derwent because, I don't know, because I enjoy their products and I give them good reviews. I promise you, I don't work for anybody. I don't work. And I give Derwent good reviews because I genuinely think they're I didn't give the studio pencils a good review because I don't like those pencils. But everything else that I've done, and that's just because of the way the products are. I'm not going to give somebody a bad review just to prove that I don't work for the company or anything like that, because that just would be too disingenuous. So I do have all my Derwent stuff in here, okay? So just before anybody says. So I've got a few Derwent Pro Color. These were Pro Color that were sent out to me way before Pro Color was sold and all that there. They were before they even had the tins. So I only have a handful in there. I have some watercolor pencils here, some Derwent watercolor pencils as well. And then I obviously have the Inktense pencils. And then I have the beautiful black and white line that Derwent done here. And then some Derwent pencils and some charcoal. But as you can see here, these leaves, and I'm going to open this up in a second. You have these clips here, and you can take these leaves out. Now, on Derwent's website, they say that you can put these into, like, a clip file or something like that. So you can clip these in there. If you're going out, say, drawing or something like that, and you've got your paper in a clip file or whatever, you can clip these in there as well, and it just gives you somewhere to keep your pencils. And the good thing about these is you can lift them out. Your pencils are safe. They're not going to roll around or anything like that. You could put it over your lap when you're out drawing, and then it's dead simple. Just clip it all back into place, and you're good to go. Now, like I said, the bag itself, whenever you first buy it, comes with 3 leaves. I have purchased an extra 2, and so I have 5 leaves in here altogether. Now, with all 5 leaves, and Derwent say that you'll not get much more than 5 leaves in there. I think you might be able to get 6. I think you might be able to squeeze 6 in. But with all 5 leaves in the bag, that allows you to carry approximately 220 pencils. Now that's 220 pencils just in these leaves. Don't forget you have this pocket here where you can put pencils into that as well if you want. So anyway, let's carry on. So as you can see here, I've got my beautiful Derwent drawing pencils, which I absolutely love. My Graphitint as well, which is the reason why with the Graphitint and the Inktense I have the Derwent brushes. I have a blender here, a Derwent blending pen, but it's really good because you're not going to want to have odorless mineral spirits or anything like that with you when you're out drawing and stuff. So if you have one of these pens, it's so much handier. I have my favourite pencil here, which is the Derwent Artist. Unfortunately, I only have a 24 set of these, but I do plan on getting the 120 set at some point. And then I've got a few other little bits and bobs here. There's a white charcoal pen there, a white jelly roll pen. And then over here, as everybody knows, I love to use my markers. Now this is the only thing in here that isn't Derwent based, and this is my Winsor & Newton markers. And this is the reason why I say I reckon you could get 6, maybe 6 leaves into this bag, because I have 5 leaves in here, and with the 5 in there, it is quite tight. But bearing in mind I've got these markers. I've got quite a lot of markers in here, as you can see, which bulk it out even more. So if there were pencils just in these last two leaves, I would well dare say I could comfortably get another leaf in there. And then, as you can see here on the last, you have this band which holds your sketchbooks and stuff like that into place. And that's why I was saying, you know, you'll get an A5. So there's a Derwent's A5 watercolor paper. I've got two of them there, and they just slot into place. So if you have any of those like A5 watercolor pads or sketch pads or tone tan or tone grey pads or anything like that, they'll fit in there perfectly. And so with everything in, you're carrying around with you quite a lot of stuff. And when you think about it, and bearing in mind the purpose of the bag is for when you are going away. It's not for living out of, really. That's not what it's designed for. Although you could use it for that. You could use it for storage in your house all the time. But so long as you understand, because I've heard some people saying, well, you know, it can only hold 220 pencils. And yes, 220 pencils, if you're using this as your primary storage in your house, may not sound like an awful lot. But 220 pencils, when you're out in a forest or something like that, when you're going out, say, to paint a landscape, or you're going out to do some wildlife drawing and sketching and stuff like that, 220 pencils is quite a lot. And primarily, that's what the bag is designed for. So when you take into consideration what it's designed for, what its primary uses are, I think this bag is really, really good. I think it holds more than enough for what you're going to need when you're out in the field. And we'll come on to the comment actually that I found that made me really want to review this item. Now, like I said, the comment that I first read about this was saying that they thought the material was flimsy. Now, it could be that the person had a bag from a long time ago when the bags first came out, because I wouldn't know what the material was like if it has changed at all. But all I can do is tell you that the material that this bag is made from is incredibly sturdy. This is not flimsy material. You are going to have to literally be dragging this through rose bushes with thorns to cause any sort of damage on this. And I literally mean dragging the bag through there, throwing it, and then pulling it out. If you're using this and you're just walking around and you've got your shoulder strap on and you're just sitting down doing sketching and stuff like that, this bag is going to hold up really, really well. On the bottom here, you have the same type of material. The only thing that I would say would be a nice added benefit, perhaps, is perhaps a rubber base or a plastic or a vinyl or a Gore-Tex base or something like that, because then it would help if you were out and it's wet. It would help it when you place it down on the ground, because you're obviously going to be placing it down like that for the biggest part of the day. If this was waterproof, then it would be better. Having said that, this is thick. I've had it. It's been out in wet weather and stuff like that with the girls. They took it out in wet weather. It didn't affect anything that was in the bag. None of the water seeped all the way through or anything like that, and caused any problems with like the sketch pads. But I just think it would be a nice touch. But that's nitpicking. That's me like trying to sit down and really think hard about something that is wrong with this bag, just to show people that I'm not working for Derwent and that, you know, I'm just doing these reviews just because I'm an employee of Derwent, because it's just not the case. And that's really about it. Now the zips as well, because if you can see here, it's been opened a lot, opened and closed and stuff like that, and I've had no issues for the period of time that I've had it. I've had no issues with the zips. I know sometimes that the zips on these types of things are one of the first things to go. I've not had any issue with it. I mean, to me, it seems like a sturdy enough zip. It's well stitched. You can see the stitching there, all the way along. It's quite wide stitching. It reminds me of a military bag, like webbing that we used to use back in the early 90s, late 80s, in the British Army before we got all the Gore-Tex stuff. And so, for me personally, I love this bag. Now, I know there's lots of different bags out there, which I'll be reviewing a few of them later on in next year. But for now, this is a Derwent Carry Bag. Now, in terms of pricing, so the pricing is quite widespread, really, if you shop around. If you go to Derwent's own personal store, if you go to their website, for the bag on its own with the 3 leaves inside, you're looking at about $24.99. But like that's online. If you go into the Derwent Museum, you're more than likely going to get it much cheaper than that because they always have fantastic deals at the museum. So that's kind of like a little push that if you're in the Lake District area, you definitely want to go to the museum because not only are you going to see fantastic things and learn fantastic things, but when you go into the shop side of the museum, they always have amazing deals in there. So anyway, if you buy it online from the Derwent shop, it's £24.19 for the bag and 3 leaves. And then for 2 extra leaves, it's £6.20. However, if you go on to Amazon, it's £12.84 for the bag. That's with 3 leaves as well. And then it's £5.70, so not much cheaper for the extra leaves, but cheaper nonetheless. So it's always, I always try to make sure that when I'm doing these reviews that I'm showing you guys the best prices that I can find because obviously cost is a big, big thing. When I'm buying these pencils and these things to review, it does get hard buying all this stuff out of my own pocket and stuff like that. So I understand that when you guys are watching the reviews, you want to make sure that you are being given the best information in terms of pricing as well. Anyway, guys, that's it for this review. As far as I'm concerned, the material in this is first class. There's nothing wrong with it at all. Maybe a little bit of Gore-Tex or something like that on the bottom, but other than that, fine. And in terms of carrying the actual contents, I think that what you can get inside this bag, the 220 pencils and then all the other additional things that you can put into that pocket on the side and the this little pocket here giving you a little bit more room for another sketchbook or something like that. I think it's more than enough for where you're going to be going with your pencils. And the bottom line is it's going to keep your pencils safe and well protected. So that's it, guys. Thanks very much for joining me today. Don't forget, if you want, there'll be a full written review of this bag over at the Art Gear Guide. I'll have a link for that down below. Also, you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Links for that will also be down below, but you can also find links for all those social media sites over in the Art Gear Guide as well. Thanks very much, guys. I look forward to seeing you again in the next review. Bye.